order to chant this mantra, you must take a deep breath first and start, because the first two lines have to be chanted in single breath. Okay, 1, 2, 3, start. Tatra para rugvedo yajurveda samavedo tharvaveda shiksha kalpo vyakaranam niruktam chando jyotishamiti atha parayaya tadaksharamadigamyate. Once again. Tatra para rugvedo yajurveda samavedo tharvaveda shiksha kalpo vyakaranam niruktam chando jyotishamiti atha parayaya tadaksharamadigamyate. In this mantra, the Guru is uttering a staggering, a shocking statement. Now he says, he qualifies what the para and apara are. He says, of these, the lower comprises Rigveda, Yajurveda, Samaveda, Atharvana Veda. So the 4 Vedas, he says, are lower knowledge. You fellows are wasting your time with the lower knowledge. And also the 6 Vedangas, Shiksha, Kalpo, Vyakaranam, Niruktam, Chanda, Jyotisham. So the 4 Vedas and the 6 Vedangas are lower. In one statement, in one breath, he dismisses them. As I said, in one breath, he chants them and says, these are all lower. Atha parayaya tadaksharamadigamyate. Atha para. Then there is the higher. That which is that higher, by which the imperishable is attained. Aksharam adhigamyate. Adhigamyate means attained. What is attained? Aksharam, the imperishable, is attained. Staggering. Just hold on, Gayatri Ma, don't leave it. Leave the page on for a minute. Of these, the lower comprises the 4 Vedas. Rigveda, Yajurveda, Samaveda, Atharvana Veda. The 6 Vedangas, the limbs, the appendages of the Vedas. Siksha, Kalpa, Vyakaranam, Niruktam, Chanda, Jyotisham. Amazing. Thank you. Yes, Gayatri. He doesn't take it for granted. Just to ensure that you have got that entire list, he spells it out. He could just say 4 Vedas and 6 Vedangas. He doesn't say that. He spells it out so that people don't mistake it. Because most of the humanity in the spiritual field are caught up in the 6 Vedangas. 99% of you all are stuck in Vedangas. 1% of you all are stuck in Vedas. Of the spiritual seekers, I'm saying. So all this, what are they? The 4 Vedas and 6 Vedangas are the knowledges of the terrestrial world. We already gone through that. Anything in the terrestrial realm is lower. So all these knowledges are of the terrestrial world. Therefore, he says they are lower. Apara. Tatra para. These are lower. They are obviously lower compared to the transcendental experience, isn't it? To get to that imperishable experience, all the knowledges of the dream are going to perish. All the wealth in your dream is going to die. All the name and fame and all the punya acquired in the dream, are you going to bring it to the waking state? They're going to perish. The moment you wake up to the waker, all the experiences and the wisdom of the dream are going to perish along with the dreamer, isn't it? So all that in the dream are perishable. The dream is the lower. The waker is the imperishable. He doesn't die relatively. In the same way, all the knowledges, all the experiences of the waker are perishable. Whatever you're investing your time in, from morning to night, you're investing your time in terrestrial activity. Remember, it is the lower. You get to your work thinking that I'm engaging with the lower. You're talking to your spouse, understand I'm talking to the lower, but don't spell it out. If you spell it out, you'll be in trouble. In the mind, you understand this is the lower, and then relate. There will be some higher wisdom that helps you to deal with the lower. Otherwise, you will be caught in a trap. I'm just giving a solution that might help you. Everything is the lower compared to that experience of realization. So what are the 6 Vedangas? Shiksha refers to the phonetics, the branch of linguistics that deal with the speech and sound. That is Siksha. Kalpa refers to the various codes of rituals. Vyakaranam is Rajama's territory, grammar. Every time I message her, immediately she'll correct me. Grammar, Guruji, this spell is wrong, that grammar is wrong. Even when I wrote that in the chart, I missed, she directly missed, Guruji, you're wrong. Please correct this word. And I had to go and correct myself. Conscious. So, Vyakaranam is Rajama's territory, grammar. Chandaha, prosody, refers to the study of verse and composition, a poetic meter, the study of rhythm, the stress and intonation of speech and chanting. Like as I'm chanting, there is a specific meter, the rhythm. In the Gita, you go, it's a monotonous. Every mantra in Upanishad has a different. That's Chanda. It's very poetic meter. Jyotisham is astrology. So Shiksha, Kalpa, Vyakaranam, Niruktam, Chanda, Jyotisha. The problem is all those who are caught up in of this or all of this, they don't get to see, they don't get the vision of the reality. They are stuck to the knowledge, they're stuck to the rituals. Niruktam is Vedic glossary. Kalpa, Vyakaranam, Niruktam is Vedic glossary. Now you can Google them and expand on all these terms. They're very much there. I don't want to get into I'm not interested in the lower, I'm sorry. If you are interested in the lower, you can search and find out. I am only interested in the higher. In Shivaji, Nariyappa will teach you the lower outside. Go to the Guru's house, they'll teach you all the lower. Various rituals and Vedangas, Jyotisham, Nariyappa, any footpath you will find Jyotish fellow. He'll tell you what Jyotisham is. But if you are interested in the higher, come to the Guru seated in the Wisdom Foundation. He'll teach you the para. So the objective is don't get stuck in these Vedas and Vedangas. Vedas and Vedangas should be used as a means to an end. If you use them and get stuck in them as an end in itself, it is lower. Now, what the Guru is saying is, don't take these textbooks literally as a lower. Even though the Guru doesn't qualify it, we are implying what the Guru intends. The Guru, when he says that these Vedas and Vedangas are lower, it means when you get stuck to something, when you get stuck in the words and don't get to the spirit, then they are the lower. When you use them as an end in itself, they are the lower. But when you use these Vedas and Vedangas as a means to an end, it is the higher. Because it helps you to get to the state of realization. And it's like a tunnel, no? Remember, Gayatri, we give example of a tunnel. How do you connect the example of a tunnel to the Vedas and Vedangas? So I'm saying the tunnel is the Vedas and Vedangas. Now, how do you draw the parallel?
Guruji, this tunnel, I thought that light is that, where we enter the tunnel and use that light to go further. Then there is a darkness. Then further we'll have to have that faith in that, and further we go the other side of the tunnel, we get the light. Actually, I was thinking of the pole vault, you use the pole to rise higher and drop the pole and cross the bar.
Yes, you can take that example as well, the pole vault. So the Vedas and Vedangas are the pole. So you use the Vedas and Vedangas to reach that height of the bar and you cross it and you let go of the pole. Fair enough. That's the one example we can use in the context. The other example we are saying is a tunnel. Now, the one you are talking about is a Plato's metaphor. It talks of a generation lost in the cave. Now, I'm not talking of that example, but I'm just talking of as you're approaching a huge, let's say a mountain, and you see a tunnel ahead of you. And I'm saying the Vedas and Vedangas are compared to a tunnel. What is that? How is it you can relate? What we are saying is the tunnel is a means to get to the other side. It is just a passage. But if you get stuck in the tunnel as an end in itself, oh my God, it is the state of the art technology and what a beautiful tunnel and so many things that you could do. They have cafeterias, they have activities in the tunnel itself, and you get stuck in the tunnel itself. In fact, one of the things, as rightly Shivaji said, whenever you pass by a tunnel, you constantly see the sign, you should not park your car in the tunnel, no parking. You cannot park yourself in a tunnel. You've got to keep moving, constantly moving. You can't hold on. So you use these Vedas and Vedangas. In fact, I would say use the Vedas. The Vedangas are still, compared to Vedas and Vedangas, Vedangas are lower to the Vedas. So amongst the Vedas and Vedangas, Vedas are higher, Vedangas are lower. Amongst themselves, between the comparison of the two texts, you should hold on to the Vedas, not the Vedangas, not the appendages, not the branches. Hold on to the main tree, man. Why are you swinging in the branch? Hold on to climb the tree. You can be swinging with a branch and not knowing the height of the tree. We are saying climb the tree, the height. So when you use the tunnel as a means to an end, the end is to get to that light at the other end of the tunnel, which is realization. You got to get into it only to get out of it. The objective of getting into it is to get out of it. Now, Ramji, I'm asking this question. If everything in the world is lower, we said all terrestrial knowledges are lower, isn't it?
Yes, sir.
The Vedas and Vedangas also are part of the terrestrial knowledge.
Yes.
Then why should we take a preference to these Vedas and Vedangas and not politics or social science or geography or agriculture?
All anything you do is all conditioned consciousness, conditioned knowledge or conditioned consciousness that you talked about, whether it is agriculture or engineering or politics or grammar or English or languages, whatever. So if you can take up anything, but you should not get stuck to that, because you have to only look at it only as a means of like we say that through your work also you can achieve that higher realization, but provided you do it without a selfish motive. So
Sir, I'm sorry, I have to interfere because you're losing track.
okay.
My can I request you to repeat my question?
Your question is that if all the Vedas and Vedangas and all the other subjects that we do, whether it is politics or whatever the worldly things that we do, all this is apara, all this is lower, then why should we do them? Why should we indulge in those?
No. If all are considered as lower,
Yeah,
why should we give importance only to this part of the lower, which is Vedas and Vedangas? Why not I pursue agriculture, I pursue politics, I pursue mechanical engineering, I pursue geology and astronomy. Why
yeah.
can't I study that? Why are we only emphasizing on Vedanta? Everything, end of the day, Vedas and Vedangas also are lower. Then
Correct,
what
sir.
is the difference between Vedanta and political science? Simple, straightforward question.
In my opinion, there is no difference. Although you said that Vedas are superior to Vedangas, there is a categorization within them.
That is in between them.
Yeah,
In
correct.
between Vedas and Vedangas, Vedas is higher, Vedangas lower. But when you compare Vedanta and political science, both are lower.
Both are lower, and I think you can achieve through both of them, because
Sir,
otherwise what happens is that
don't tell me you can attain moksha through Vedanta and attain moksha through politics.
you can't attain through both of them, sir. You have to attain moksha only through the para, which is the pursuit of self-realization.
No. Sir, what is pursuit of self-realization? Is the pursuit of, that is precisely my question. Pursuit of self-realization, is it not through Vedanta?
No, by that logic, then an unpad, somebody who is not studied anything, cannot attain moksha.
No, you're changing the question.
No, sir. I'm asking a supplementary question. That is, by that logic, if Vedas knowledge is compulsory to reach moksha, then an unpad fellow can never reach moksha.
Therefore, this is precisely the language of the Upanishad. The language of the Upanishad is, don't get caught up in the mere words. You may be a man of words, but you will get to the higher. Therefore, he says, these literary knowledge, to be a literate with words is not necessarily higher.
Correct.
So to endorse what you're saying, you can be an illiterate, you can be a man of no words, and yet you can attain the higher.
Right.
So it is not the question of literate or illiterate. It's a question of whether you get to the spirit of the words.
Right. So even if you're an illiterate, you might intrinsically develop the knowledge of the Vedas. I mean,
Absolutely.
The essence of
Absolutely.
Vedas. Essence of
Yes.
Vedas. Yes.
Yes.
So when we say Vedas, it's not necessary to refer to the four Vedas. It could be important to say that the essence of the knowledge.
So there are exceptions to which we are accommodating.
Okay.
But Vedas refers to this branch of knowledge.
Right.
To this branch of knowledge where you and I surrender to seek wisdom.
Correct.
If we say no, wisdom is there beyond these textbooks, then you will undermine these textbooks. You'll undermine this great tradition. How can we undermine this Guru Shishya Parampara and the rich heritage of wisdom? We can't undermine. Yet a person may be a cobbler. That person can be a what is it? Who was I don't get that word. Who was Krishna? As a cow, okay, you can be a cowherd boy.
Shepherd. Yeah.
A shepherd. You can be a shepherd. You can be literate. Yet you can be a man of wisdom. Exactly. That is not the. Obviously, you drew that supplementary question from this. But coming back to the parent question, if all knowledges are all lower, then why should we give so much importance to Vedanta? What is that Vedanta has an edge over other knowledges? It has an edge. Obviously, there is an edge.
Because it gives you the wisdom, whereas the other things may be only knowledge. And they are not necessarily giving you the wisdom. I mean, I can just guess that way.
Right. Okay. No, I'm wanting you all to think in the line. It's so difficult to get the question. All right. Okay, Ramji, we'll leave it at
Thank
that.
you, sir.
Yes, Shivaji. Thank you, sir. Yes, Shivaji.
See, other aspects, how much ever you know, it could be science, it could be engineering. You are not complete. It's only fracture, part of the knowledge only you can gain. How much ever you could reach the pinnacle of that, still you are not complete. There is always a lacuna. You could be reached the highest. Even when you reach the highest, you realize you have known very little. All the other knowledges, whereas the knowledge of the Vedas, they take you to that level where you feel complete. That's why this is much superior than the other knowledge. They all give you ways to make your life. This completes your life. They all show the way. You can make money, you can make a living, you can buy all those things. All the peripherals of the life they give you, but not the core of the existence, which only the Vedas shows. That's what I think.
All right. You're not wrong, sir. You're not wrong at all. All right. Okay. Let me hear Setuji.
Hari Om Guruji. All other knowledge are about perishable. Vedas are about imperishable, about reality, about Brahman.
So what does it mean? What does it do to you?
It's a higher the futility of this knowledge is known, that takes us beyond, and they are the real means to the end.
Sir, I'm just taking the cue from what you said. All knowledges talk about the terrestrial, the perishable. This only
Talks about
knowledge, the imperishable. It talks about the higher. Now, all other knowledges, what do they do to you vis-a-vis this knowledge? All other knowledges actually bind you to the world. This is the only knowledge which is the knowledge of the imperishable, liberates you from the world.
Correct.
Since this knowledge liberates you from the world, you have to give little more importance to this part of the lower. Even though it is the lower, you have to heed to this part of the lower Vedas and Vedangas, because it gives you, it liberates you from your attachments to the rest of the world. Sir, it liberates you from rest of the attachments to the world. It itself disappears. I repeat, this part of the knowledge is so beautiful. You develop a detachment to the rest of the world, and ultimately this thought itself disappears. And when you reach a state of thoughtlessness, you gain moksha. I give two examples which is spoken in Atma Bodha by Adi Shankaracharya. He calls this knowledge, the first example, he says this knowledge is like Swapna Simhavat. He says this knowledge is like a dream. Like a dream lion, not just an ordinary thought. He says this knowledge is like a dream lion. Imagine this is the dream. Now, in the dream, there is the dreamer, the dreamer's son, the dreamer's wife, the dreamer's business, the dreamer's friends, and so on. Many. of the thoughts, there's one thought that is the dreamer's lion. So this dreamer's lion is the V, which is Vedanta. Vedas and Vedangas is the dreamer's lion. So what Adi Shankaracharya is saying is, this knowledge is like a swapna, simha vat, like a dream lion. So he says this knowledge is like a dream lion. Now, UK, can you tell me, you see the diagram, isn't it, ma'am?
Yes.
So you see the dreamer's son, dreamer's wife, business, friends, all that, many thoughts of the dream. Vis-a-vis the dreamer's lion.
Yes.
The dreamer goes to a forest in Bandhavgarh and he sees a dream lion or a dream tiger there. Now, what is the difference between the dream lion vis-a-vis dream son or dream wife or dream husband?
It's ferocious. I mean, a lion is ferocious, so he will be facing a very frightful situation.
Then what does it do to you?
He will try to run away from there, or he will try to avoid.
Imagine the lion. Imagine the lion is chasing you. What will you do?
Naturally, I will run away, Guruji. I
Where?
will try to run. I'll try to run.
Where?
So,
Where?
in the forest itself.
Where?
Try to come back to the world. Try to
Where?
wake up. Try to wake up.
Where? Huh?
Try to wake up, Guruji.
Who is running away from what?
I am the one who is running away from the.
Who is
lion.
that I? Who is that I? You are seeing the diagram, no? Who
Yes,
is that
Guruji.
I in that example? Who is running away from the lion? The
The dream is
dreamer.
Dreamer is
No,
running away from
dream
the
lion.
lion.
The dreamer. The dreamer is Usha. Okay.
Yes.
Usha is running away from the dream lion, isn't it?
Yes. Yes.
In the process of running from dream lion, what happens? What
I
happens?
wake up. Usha wakes
Correct.
up.
Correct. So the dream lion has the capacity
To
to
wake.
wake you up to the next state.
Yeah. Yeah.
You wake up to the waking state. So
Yes.
everything else in the dream binds you.
Yes, Guruji.
This dream lion
Wakes you
alone
up. Yeah.
liberates you. What a beautiful example
Great.
by the great
Yes.
Adi Shankaracharya.
Yeah.
Therefore, they are saying, give importance to the dream lion, which is the Veda and Vedanga,
Yeah.
because this alone has the capacity to liberate
To
you.
wake. Yes.
Everything else binds you to the dream. The
Yes.
dream son is binding you, your dream husband is binding you, your dream home is binding you, your dream social life is binding you, everything, your dream friends are binding you, your dream guru also is binding you. Everybody is binding you to a samsara in the dream, except the dream
Yes.
lion that says, get out of the dream. And how?
Yes, Guruji. By
It gives you liberation, moksha. What a beautiful example.
yes, Guruji.
That is the reason we should give importance to this Vedas and Vedangas, even though they are like any other science. As Shivaji said, they are science of life vis-a-vis science of living. No doubt this is a science of life, but the benefit of this science of life is it liberates you. Everything else binds you. The more you think of it, it's a fascinating example.
Yes.
So you will give, you're following, ma?
Yes, yes, Guruji. Yes.
Right. Great. Great. Thank you. Setuji, you are with me, Setuji?
I have
Yes,
a
sir. We can hear you. Yes, sir.
question,
Yes, sir.
Guruji.
Yes, sir.
Between Vedas and Vedanta, earlier Vedantas are considered as the end of Vedas. So Vedanta actually overrides over Vedas. But now you say
No, no, no.
Vedas
No,
are
no,
the
no.
tree and Vedanta is a branch.
Sir, Vedas and Vedangas. Vedanta,
Is the end of Vedas.
yes. What is the end of Vedas?
It
I'm spelling it out, sir. Vedanta, the anta of the Veda. So the word can be split as it were. Veda and anta. Veda means knowledge. Anta means the end. So when you say Vedanta, Veda can also refer to the four texts. The Rig Veda, Yajur Veda, Sama Veda, Atharvana Veda, four texts. Now the end is
Upanishad.
the Upanishads. So Vedanta is giving literally the Upanishads, which is the highest knowledge. And the highest knowledge is knowledge of Brahman. So this knowledge of Brahman is the highest knowledge of the Vedas, which is Vedanta. But in the mantra, the Guru is saying the four texts, which is the four Vedas and the four Vedangas, he is calling them as lower.
What is considered?
And there is self-realization.
Yeah, but Vedangas are different from Upanishads.
Yes, Vedas, Upanishads belong to the Vedas. Vedangas are separate from the Vedas. The 6 Vedangas, which is Kalpa, Vyakaranam, Niruktam, Chanda, Jyotisham. This is separate to the Vedas.
This
They are
Vedangas
appendages.
are appendages, that is Jyotisham and all, is it?
Yes, yes, Jyotisham, Chanda, Niruktam, Vyakaranam, Kalpa are the appendages or the limbs of the Vedas. The various limbs.
You should write 6.
Sorry, you're right. I'm sorry. You're right. Thanks for correction. There's the 6 Vedangas. You're right. So the 4 Vedas and the 6 Vedangas are the lower. Anga means they're just limbs apart, the Vedas.
So Vedas are superior to Vedangas.
Any day.
Upanishads are essence of everything, but that the cream, and that is the superior to all of them.
Yes. Which is what we are reading. We are reading a Mundaka Upanishad. Mundaka Upanishad is an essence of
Mundaka Upanishads is Atharvana Veda.
which Atharvana Veda. Mundaka Upanishad belongs to Atharvana Veda. So we are not reading the rest of the Vedas. Vedas themselves have 4 parts. Now don't get confused. Each Veda has 4 parts. The 4th part of each Veda contains Upanishads. Now, what are the 4 parts of each Veda? I'll come back and tell you. I don't want to complicate it with so much that is being given. But each Veda has got 4 parts. And the 4th part of each Veda contains Upanishads. And interestingly, the end portion of the Vedas, Upanishads, themselves denounce the other part of the Vedas. which that is happening now, in a way. Okay, sir.
I mistook Vedangas as Vedanta. So that's the.
No. Yeah. Right, sir. Right, sir. So since all the confusion is only of the lower, higher is very clear, do you know? There is no doubt about higher. That is the problem. The higher I know, Lakshmi Ma, I'm sure you know, sitting far away in Malaysia also, you know what higher is, isn't it? Have you sorted out your problems? No, we can't hear you. So the para, which is the higher, we don't know what it is. And yet we seem to know what it is. Lakshmi's iPhone இருக்கு இல்லையா?
Can you hear me, Guruji?
Yes, we can hear you.
There's some issue with my computer mic, so I'm using my iPhone mic to talk. I lost the question. Sorry, Guruji. Just now.
No. What I was actually little sarcastic when I said that. All the confusion we had so far is of the lower.
Yeah. Because we are still.
But there's no doubt about the higher. We all know what the higher is, isn't it?
Yeah. Stuck in the tunnel, I guess.
You seem to be so sure of the higher, yet no clue of what that higher is.
It's so hard to get there. It's so hard to get there. I mean, every time you're pulled back, right? When you try. Attachments.
But you're getting a hold of the concept, right?
Yes, Guruji. Thank you.
Right. Yeah, right. So the second example I mentioned, one is the Swapna Simhavat. The second example, again, Adi Shankaracharya talks about is like a Kataka nut powder. Kataka nut powder. Those olden days, there used to be a nut called Kataka nut. Today you have modern means of purifying water through aquaguard and this guard and that guard. But when there was Rajima, when there was no aquaguard, Kataka nut powder was the means of filtering water.
We get those nuts today also, Guruji.
But you and I don't use Kataka nut powder because you have fixed aquaguard in your house and at the center also. So we don't use Kataka nut. But olden days, when there was water suspended with dirt particles, Kataka nut powder used to be added. Let's say if you have a tumbler of a transparent container, and if you put dirty water, you can actually see suspended dirty particles. So they would crush the Kataka nut and sprinkle the Kataka nut powder into the water. But a third person who doesn't know the benefit of Kataka nut powder, he says, man, the water is already dirty. Above that, you're adding some more dirt into it. You say, Shanti. Even though the water is dirty, what this Kataka nut powder has, the unique quality is, as it contacts the water, that the particles start gaining weight, and that thin film, as it starts coming lower because of the weight, it starts attracting the suspended dirt particles, and it gathers weight and gets lower, and you slowly see the thin film of the Kataka nut powder along with the dirt get slowly settled at the bottom of the water, leaving crystal clear water to be consumed. So what Adi Shankaracharya ji is saying is, even though Kataka nut powder is dirt to already dirty water, but not only does this Kataka nut powder clear the dirt, it itself clears its way so that it leaves you clear water to drink. But you add anything else, it only contaminates the water further. But Kataka nut powder clears the dirt, and it itself clears the way, leaving fresh water to be consumed. So use the two examples of sediment impurities, that's the right term to use. So the example of Swapna Simhavat and Kataka nut powder helps you to understand why we should give importance to the Vedas and Vedangas. Of the two, give importance to the Vedas. Of the Vedas, give importance to the Upanishads, because that alone will take you to the higher as a means to the end. As I was reminded of these two beautiful examples of Atma Bodha, maybe someday we should redo the text of Atma Bodha. It will be a very inspiring text. It's a beautiful study. I know some of you may have already embarked on it, have already covered it. I don't know how many times in my life I've already taught Atma Bodha, but I'm inspired. I don't know whether you're inspired to listen. I'm inspired to teach or study again. So someday we create an opportunity to study the beautiful text of Atma Bodha. All right? We'll come back. Thank you. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om. Shri Guru Bhyo Namaha. Hari Om.